It's 11 p.m. the night before a major exam. The textbook is still in shrink wrap, and you're frantically Googling for a miracle. The internet always gives you the same list. Get a full night's sleep, eat a healthy breakfast, and take your time. That advice helps students who have been prepared for months, but it does nothing for anyone trying to survive an exam on 12 hours' notice. If you were taking the French baccalaureate, you would be facing a page of essay questions. You need actual, deep subject mastery to avoid staring at a blank white box for 4 hours. Most of us are facing multiple choice tests like the SAT, GRE, or CFA. These exams operate on an industrial scale, and because they are produced by a massive system, they are governed by a different set of rules. Standardized tests function as highly predictable machines. They possess mechanical flaws and exploitable bugs that you can leverage without being a genius. Success depends on treating the test as a flawed system meant to be hacked. You can reach the top percentiles by exploiting these mechanics instead of trying to become a model student overnight. To start hacking the system, you have to ignore the traditional advice to take your time and carefully check your work. Instead, prioritize speed. You want to work through the problems fast enough to finish the entire test, with enough time to do it again from scratch. There is a significant cognitive difference between reviewing and redoing. If you just look over your work, your brain follows the original logic path and ignores the error it already made. When you cover the answer and redo the calculation, you force the brain to start over. If you get a different result the second time, you've identified a discrepancy that a simple review would have missed. Speed in this context means using more efficient, unconventional techniques to reach the answer. It is about using shortcuts to bypass the intended, time-consuming steps. Prioritizing speed turns the exam into a double verification system, making your final score far more secure against careless mistakes. Consider a typical algebra problem involving complex fractions and variables. The official way to solve this is through time-consuming cross-multiplication. The traditional method requires finding common denominators and multiplying across. It's a slow process where a single arithmetic slip ruins the entire solution. You can bypass the algebra by plugging in the number 1. This gives you a simple fraction of 87 over 8. Now, plug a 1 into every answer choice. Only one will match your result, revealing the correct answer instantly. This works because test writers are often working on a deadline. They get paid by the question and need a fast, reliable way to invent wrong answer choices. They generate traps by predicting common errors, like adding fractions straight across. If you understand these lazy rules, you can spot the bait answers without even doing the math. Identifying these common trap patterns allows you to eliminate 3 of the choices immediately, significantly increasing your odds of a correct guess to 50-50 or better. On reading and verbal sections, students often look for the answer that sounds right. This is a trap built on subjective feelings. Test makers avoid ambiguity at all costs to prevent students from arguing over the results. Every wrong answer must be unarguably false, and every right answer must be supported by concrete evidence in the passage. When you're stuck, stop thinking like a student and start thinking like the person who wrote the answer key. Demand a factual, evidence-based reason for why one choice is definitively better than the other. Studying for these tests usually involve grinding through massive practice manuals. For many, the sheer friction of opening a 500-page book is enough to kill all motivation. If your motivation is dead, use lazy intake. Instead of forcing yourself to solve problems, go on YouTube and watch experts do walkthroughs of full practice tests. Passively absorbing dozens of solved problems builds better pattern recognition than spending an hour agonizing over a single textbook question before giving up. Fake studying, setting up Pomodoro timers, color-coding notes, and making intricate schedules serves as the primary barrier to actual learning. This analysis paralysis gives you a temporary dopamine hit of productivity while preventing you from ever touching the material. At some point, you have to stop planning and start executing. If you struggle to focus, go to a public place where people can see your screen. Leveraging your fear of looking like a slacker to strangers is a highly effective way to stay off your phone. For even higher stakes, record a continuous time-lapse video of your study session. You can't browse the web if your phone is occupied recording your progress, and the final video serves as proof of your work. When you need to lock in vocabulary or procedures, use digital active recall. Tools like Toggle Notes allow you to hide the answer to a question until you've manually tried to recall it. forcing the brain to work harder. Winning at these exams requires ruthlessly hacking your own psychology and the mechanical flaws of the exam itself. Treat the test as a system to be beaten, and the results will follow.